parts about coming to SEMA is to learn what new products and tools are out there. I don't know why, I love the cars, but I love to learn the new tools to be able to work on them. So we always come see the Mittler brothers, and Mike, this time you've got something that really looks like it would help efficiency in our shop by tenfold. Tell me what I'm looking at.
Well, what we did here is, you know, you have our regular standard bench press now, but what we did is we kind of blew that thing up and made it a kind of a monster press. We call it the quad press. So for fabricators such as yourself that want to use a wide variety of our different type of tools, you can mount those tools in this press, and then you've always got them ready at your disposal. So if you want to walk up and do a corner round of a panel, you want to punch and flare, a louver, or some of our new stuff we're going to show you in a minute, you can always have that tooling set up and ready to go. Just a time saver for the fabricator. Okay, so in general, if we're going to change a die, let's say, how long would that process take? Well, usually it takes about 5 minutes to do it. So you multiply that 5 minutes times several operations a day, you know, you can see that a good amount of time that would be used. And what we usually find what happens is it might only be a few seconds to do the job, so the fabricator will say, well, I won't do that job, and he might shortcut, or he might do it in a more labor-intensive way, thinking he's saving time. This way, it's set up, it's ready to go, it saves the fabricator time. And I understand it's called a quad press, but what kind of dies go in this press? Well, any of our tools that you're familiar with. We have the punch and flare is very common that a lot of the guys like. Of course, the louvers draws a lot of attention. Yep. Everybody wants to talk about louvers. This particular die right here is our corner round die. Okay. This has 4 different radiuses on it, so you can round the corner of a panel. You see this panel right here. So that would cut off instead of that sharp edge, right, and make a nice radius edge there. Okay. And what's this one back here set up for? And then this is our slot punch right here. Okay. So a lot of our stock car guys that have adjustable valences on their car want to be able to adjust that valence, so we have the slot punch set up in there. Okay, and we know like your stomp shear has certain metal thicknesses. What are your punches set up to do? Basically parallel to that, 16 gauge steel or aluminum is what we find to be the most common thickest size for the fabricator and builder. Okay, and it looks like they're different depths of throat? Yeah, what's that for? Our standard press that we've had for many years is 12 inches deep, and that's what the dual side is 12 inch for the louvers, the punch and flare. The other 2 smaller stations are for stations that don't require as much throat depth, like the corner punch that we were showing you. Sure. You're always working on the edge of the sheet there. Right. You're not working in the middle of the sheet. Okay. Typically for punching a hole or a slot, you're working closer to the edge, so you don't need the deeper throat. So it makes the press a little more compact, and it saves a little money. We're all looking for a bargain today. Right. So this way a guy can get a machine with a lot of capacity for still a reasonably affordable price. Okay, and the table that it's sitting on is not just for this display today. You guys sell the tables? We sell that separate also. Okay. Our ultimate notcher fits on here, and our other machines fit on there. So that would be an optional piece. A lot of guys have benches or things in their shop. They can take this and bolt that right to their existing bench in their shop. Okay, now last time we talked, you guys were developing some new dies. Can you tell me what you got? Sure, yeah, we got 2 new exciting things to talk about today. First is our oval punches. We make these in 3 different sizes. You know, we've made the round punches as we talked about for many years. Right. And the guys all say, that's cool, but we want more. So we came up with the ovals. Okay. We worked in conjunction with Jamie Jordan on this, and Jamie did a good job of helping us kind of get the sizing to make it where they flow good. Right. We'll show you an example of that right here. We've got 3 different sizes here, kind of small, medium, and large, and you can use them together, or you can use them separate. You know, here's just a set of the small ones, punch right in that panel, like for your bomber seats or your internal panels in your car is a pretty good idea there. Yeah, absolutely. And then, so then, you know, well, that looks pretty simple and straightforward. So then they say, well, let's go to the next level. So we say, well, what's next? We'll make triangles. So we came up with the triangles also, and you can see that makes a really high-tech looking bridge work design there, pretty good. Okay. And we did the same thing there. We did the small, medium, and large in that also.
Okay.
So you can either use them individually or make a layout with the different sizes there. So that's kind of the newest tooling that we have that could go in this existing press or in this press or one of our existing bench presses a customer might already have.
Okay, and Mike, I noticed this has a bolt hole in the center. Is that to where you could use it in the press or by hand, like on a table on its own?
These are made to go in the press. They take a little higher force than the regular round ones do.
Okay.
So because of that higher force, we made them where they go in the press, and there's actually a block that sits on top of here. So when you operate the press, it will just pull it down.
Okay, but some of your dies are able to be used off of the press entirely, on the table or whatever.
Our typical punch and flare round punches are made where you just drill a half-inch hole, apply the metal, and then it will punch and flare it in one shot like that.
Okay, so there's some versatility with your products.
Yes, absolutely there is.
Great.
Yes, there is,
Great.
absolutely.
Now you mentioned other products and other tools. What kind of other things are you showing at the show today?
We got Jamie here today, demoing the bead roller, and of course he's the king of the artwork bead rolling, if you might say.
Super talented
Really,
guy.
really opened it up to a whole different world for us. Here's one of our newest rolls that we have. We call this the stitching roll, and you can roll it real shallow like this or even a little deeper for a more pronounced stitch. So again, for like your interior panels where you would see the stitching on the upholstery, you can have stitching in your aluminum now.
Really
That's
cool.
one of our newest rolls.
Great.
The other rolls we've created then are these rounding rolls. So when you're working on maybe a tube fab chassis and you want to be able to make that piece of aluminum have that finished look, you can see how that would lay right on top of that and give you a nice finished look. We make those in several different sizes to fit the different common sizes of the tubing that the guys are using.
Okay. So Mike, let's say someone is going to purchase your product, but they've never used them before, and they're going to call you and they're going to say, normally I fabricate this type of things like your race cars or your roll cages and things like that. Are you guys able to suggest, or do you have kits or something of specific sizes that are most used?
Well, what we try and do is listen to the customer and say, what is the work you're doing? Our customer base is so varied, from the hot rod and restoration folks to the racing people, and then we've got all the different subclasses within there. So our people are pretty well trained to be able to listen to the customer and say, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? And we try and package that up to suit the individual customer's needs.
Okay.
Rather than just say one size fits all.
Right.
We don't have it that way. You can kind of make your own combination with us, and we'll help you do that. Just as we've done with you all to help you all in your shop also.
And I know you guys work a lot with Jamie, so if someone called and said, I need a specific die, like some crazy off-the-wall thing, will you guys help them with that?
Well, yes, we have over 200 different bead roll dies available right now. So I'm not saying that we can't come up with a new one for someone, but with 200 different combinations,
we should be able to make something.
I think we can make them pretty happy somewhere along the line, yes.
Where can they learn more about your products?
You can, of course, learn about us in two different ways. You can look us up on the web, www.mittlerbros.com, and people in the United States can call us at 800-467-2464.
Okay, thanks so much for your time, Mike. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. Pleasure to work with you.
You too.